In the last video, I explained what beginners should be looking for in a floor jack and stands, and now we're going to put them to use with my Jeep Commander. I've also included links to all the tools and accessories that I'll be using throughout the series in the description. If this were a roadside emergency situation, then I wouldn't have the option to lift more than one wheel at a time using the provided jack, but if you need to get both wheels off the ground evenly for maintenance work, you can follow this tutorial at your own risk. I say risk because what I'm about to show you is not listed as a recommended lifting point in the owner's manual. This is a debatable location for some people because there is fluid and a system of gears behind the shroud, which is why you don't want to damage this area. Depending on the car manufacturer, some owner's manuals specify that it is safe to lift from the rear differential, while others don't say it, but it's still acceptable. Which is the case with my Commander, and because the Jeep is already sitting higher off the ground than most, I don't see any other way to balance the weight evenly than to lift from the rear differential. Before you start, make sure you're on a flat surface, and if it's inside a garage that has door sensors, put something in front of those sensors just in case someone or something were to accidentally cause the door to lower, if your vehicle isn't completely inside the garage. Also, go ahead and chalk the front tires and engage the e-brake to prevent the Jeep from rolling. You can feel and hear the difference when comparing the frame to soft metal. And the rear differential and axle shaft are solid pieces. You can also see that just below the shroud is a flat piece of the assembly, which is where I'll be lifting from. This way, there won't be any contact made to the shroud. The main thing to be aware of is making sure the saddle is centered and flat against the surface before you start lifting. And on a side note, I prefer to not use any padding while doing this because I want to keep the weight balanced and secure. Take your time and slowly pump the handle. You shouldn't hear much of anything during this process. If you were to hear any crunching sounds while jacking a car, then you should immediately stop and lower the vehicle and check for damage because you're pressing against something you shouldn't. Once you have enough clearance, slide the floor jack stands into place and slowly lower the Jeep. I like keeping the jack stands on pine wood not only to protect my garage floor, but you can easily slide them in and out of position. And I do recommend using the floor jack as a third support for additional safety from a nearby lifting point. Just barely making contact because you want the floor stands to do the work. Whenever you're done, raise the Jeep high enough to clear the floor stands and slowly lower the vehicle after removing both stands. As you can see, there is no damage, and this process did not affect my Jeep's performance on the road in any way. In the next video, I'll show you how to get both front wheels off the ground. Until then, be sure to check the description for links to the tools, accessories, and other videos.